Hello there, Star Wars fans, and welcome back to another Rebelscum.com video review. And today we are reviewing the highly anticipated, probably most requested walker vehicle for MGS to do, and that is the Micro Galaxy Squadron AT-AT Walker. It looks incredible. I love the size of this thing. It's nice and large. Could it be a little bit bigger? Yes, it's not perfect, but it is certainly the absolute best micro scale AT-AT we have ever got as a toy. And it's got the lights and sounds, it's got all these opening compartments, it's got it all. This is the real deal. It's so cool. So here it is in the packaging. You got a nice open window there of the walker. You got all the little figures down below. On the back, you've got some images of the various play features of the walker, as well as a hologram display of the walker, and more. And that's pretty much it for the packaging. And here it is out of the packaging, and as you can see, it looks really awesome and really large, especially next to the snow speeder. It looks so cool next to the snow speeder. Also, for comparison, here is the speeder bike right next to it as well. Now, real quick guys, this does not come with batteries pre-installed or anywhere in the packaging for that matter, but it does take 3 AAA batteries. Right here on this bottom section, you're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver. You're going to unscrew 2 screws. There's one here and there's one here. And this whole midsection right here is the battery cover for the AT-AT. Just unscrew those, pop those 3 batteries in, screw the cover back into place, and you're good to play with your AT-AT. Check it out. So there's a couple of buttons for the sounds. You push the one right here on the side to get it going, because it'll eventually put itself into sleep mode. And then
prepare to target the main generator.
As you can see, the chin guns also light up, which is very cool.
Prepare to target the main generator. All troops will debark for ground assault. Target maximum firepower. All troops will debark for ground assault.
And that's pretty much it for those. And then you also have, you also have the walking sounds. And that's pretty much all that side button does. So still very, very cool. Other play features include articulation. This thing is fully articulated as an AT-AT, which is really awesome to say, because even the neck is articulated. It doesn't just wiggle a little bit, but goes back to one position or another. It has ratcheting joints in the neck to keep it in the position you articulated in. So, and that's the noise of it powering down. But you can articulate it in all kinds of directions that you can think of. And it kind of has like that kind of sharp, stop motion-y like movement that it had in Scream, because guess what? They used stop motion for the movement of the walkers. That is so awesome. You also have full articulation in the legs. So ratchet joints at the shoulders, a nice stiff knee joint, although it doesn't ratchet, and nothing, well, and you have a ratchet at the ankle joints. Now, they don't move side to side, which is a shame. The toes also don't articulate, but the legs are very well articulated, as is the neck. You also have a lot of just really cool paneling and details. Soft rubbery plastic tube on the neck joint, which is also a hallway, by the way. You have cool under panel details on the bottom, including hook points for the grapple line for your little Luke, so you can plug that in right there, twist it and hook that into place, and then you can dangle a Luke from your walker. You also can do it from right here and right here on the back as well. So you get a decent amount of options for how to display your Luke Skywalker that you get with your AT-AT. Now, they also have a lot of cool interior features and design work. So you have a troop bay up on top, you have this little troop crane that comes out to the side, and you also have a command console on the inside, as well as the speeder rack in the back. And Jazwares even said they used a lot of the imagery from Jedi Fallen Order, the video game, where Cal Kestis goes through an AT-AT and goes through the various levels and rooms of it until he reaches his way to the cockpit in the head of the walker. Now, these are two different models of AT-AT. The AT-AT seen in Jedi Fallen Order and the AT-AT we see in the original trilogy are different models. The one in Jedi Fallen Order being an earlier model, which is the same model we see in Star Wars Rebels. You can store multiple speeder bikes. Now, you only get one with the actual AT-AT, but that's okay. If you've been collecting speeder bikes or have opened multiple speeder bike packs from the Series 1 of the Scout class minis, you can just stack a bunch of them. You can have up to 4 in the speeder bike garage in the back. And what's also cool is there's a little hole through here, so you can get your speeder bike to the crane. It can get lowered down along with your troops and deployed to the Battle of Hoth to face down those evil rebels. But the interior detail doesn't end with this section right here. The cockpit also opens up, and you have a full view of the inside. You have the 2 pilot chairs, as well as a stand for the commander, which in this case we did get a General Veers with our AT-AT, because he is, of course, the main AT-AT commander to go with it. Now, I love that we got a couple of snowtroopers. I also love that we got a snowspeeder pilot Luke with his lightsaber ignited, because that's going to be really fun. I wish we got at least one more AT-AT driver, however. I know Micro Galaxy is vehicle first, then the characters are accessories to the vehicle, but come on, Jazwares, you know we need at least 2 drivers, because that's going to drive us crazy. Get it? That's going to drive us crazy not having 2 drivers in the pilot seats on the walker and have the commander behind him. I'm glad we at least got Veers to stand behind him, but at the same time, like it's gonna bug me that they're not in there. Now, as far as the interaction between the AT-AT and the Snowspeeder that was earlier released in Micro Galaxy Squadron, I will say it's kind of a shame due to the length of the cord we get here, and there's also not a lot of decent hook points on the walker itself to hook our Snowspeeder to. The spots around the ankles are kind of the most decent spots to try to hook it around the legs. I mean, you can also hook it here on the underbelly of the AT-AT, but that's not where the Snowspeeder harpoons to. It harpoons to the leg, and I will say I was really hoping they were going to keep that in mind when they designed the 2 of these vehicles, and it just seems like it might have ended up being an afterthought. Like I said, you can still kind of make it work like I've done here, where you just kind of use the tension to keep it attached, but there's no real good place to actually hook it in to the walker. So I gotta say, with that interaction in mind, it could have been done better, and I'm surprised it wasn't done better, but it is what it is. These are still 2 very, very cool vehicles in their own right. And really, the Snowspeeder belongs right here anyway, and, you know, not around the legs of the AT-AT, because we needed to get to its objective and smash that filthy rebel base so that we can get back to keeping the peace in the galaxy, right? So while that's really cool right there, you can also take a Luke. You could take this Luke. You can take the Luke that comes with a lightsaber in this pack right here. And you can put this clamp around his waist because he grapples up to the AT-AT. And there is Luke dangling from the belly of the AT-AT, getting ready to just throw that charge on the inside and take it out of commission, which was a really, really awesome scene in that movie. And a legendary battle moment in all of Star Wars. And of course, we also have the little figures that come with the AT-AT. So first, here is the new Snowspeeder Luke next to the Snowspeeder Luke that came with the Snowspeeder. The biggest difference here being there's more paint detail on the new version, especially on the helmet. And of course, he's holding his lightsaber so he can take out the AT-AT. We have one AT-AT driver, and they got some pretty good detail. I'm amazed they even got the cogs on the helmet there and some of the other little red paint details on the AT-AT driver. So the paint detail on him is very well done. We got two little Imperial snowtroopers here. They look like they're just the same little trooper mold. Not bad that we got two, especially since we're going to need a bunch of snowtroopers to crew the AT-AT. And of course, last but not least, your walker needs its commanding officer. General of the ground forces from Vader's Star Destroyer, here we have General Veers leading the charge on the assault on Echo Base. And he looks good too. And there is General Veers and the AT-AT driver inside the cockpit there. So as you can see, you can stand a full-sized Micro Galaxy figure inside the head of the AT-AT and still close it and still use the firing lights and sounds, which by the way, the viewport also lights up, as does the console on the inside.
Prepare to target the main generator. Target, maximum firepower. All troops will debark for ground assault.
And that is so cool. Speaking of troops, there is one of the snowtroopers sitting in the troop bay on top of the AT-AT. And here is the other snowtrooper on the white Imperial speeder bike that we got for the assault on Hoth. I also kind of wish we got a snow biker scout to go with our speeder bike here instead of a second snowtrooper or in addition to the second snowtrooper. I know I'm asking for a lot of figures here to go with the AT-AT, but it is truly a vehicle that requires and probably should have come with a lot more figures than it did. Now, I know that there's deco and figure budget to keep in mind here, but at the same time, we need at least one more AT-AT driver and at least one Hoth biker scout, because the snow biker scouts and the regular biker scouts have very different gear. The gear for the snow biker scout is gray and has a heavier thermal layer to keep that trooper warm in those harsh, cold environments like this, much like the snowtroopers have lighter armor and more thermal gear to keep them warm in that harsh, cold environment in places such as Hoth, Renvar, and more. Overall, this is an incredible release, easily one of the greatest vehicles that Jazwares has released so far in the Micro Galaxy Squadron line. And like I said towards the beginning of this video, hands down the greatest micro scale AT-AT of all time. This thing is incredible. Fingers crossed that Jazwares does the earlier model of the Imperial AT-AT that we saw in both Rebels and Jedi Fallen Order, and I also hope that we get the slightly taller AT-ACT from Rogue One, and maybe even the AT-M6 from The Last Jedi. Wouldn't an AT-M6 be something? Because those are about twice the size of these guys right here. So seeing a much larger walker next to this walker would just be super cool. Jazwares, I hope y'all have plans for that at some point in the future. But also, I know they really want to do an AT-TE sometime soon, and I know a lot of Clone Wars era fans would absolutely love that too. So who knows? Stay tuned. Whenever those new Jazwares vehicles get announced for Micro Galaxy Squadron, they'll be up here on Rebelscum.com. So make sure you're checking the main website every single day for all kinds of awesome toy news, video reviews, and more. But also, make sure you go sign up today for a free account on collectorsoracle.com. I have it on good faith that here pretty soon you'll probably see Micro Galaxy Squadron added to the website at some point in the near future. But not only that, you can also manage and track your collection with the figure lines we already have on there currently. So Stay tuned for more because more stuff is coming to collectorsoracle.com, but sign up today so you can start managing your collection like a pro. If you like non-Star Wars content, check out CoolToyReview.com for awesome toy news and more, and like and subscribe to Cool Toy Review and Bay 12 Toys for some awesome non-Star Wars video review and content. We'll see you guys later. We'll see you another time. May the Force be with all of you, you Rebel scum.
Target maximum firepower.